friend. Is that the right
Yes.
English? Oh, I'm so glad to have a chat today with my friend Zoe. Yeah, so today me and Zoe are going to be, talking about something we both believe in deeply that we think is very essential for our growth as, as girls, our evolution as women, and just our, general well-being as human beings. So the chat is going to be about identity. Um, of course, still our line is the only you, the only me. You know how cool that is.
That's really amazing.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that statement when you hear it? The only you, the only me.
The only me, the only oh my god. Like I really
Hmm.
think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's something that we have to dive in.
Hmm.
And today, like in the morning while I woke up, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like the only me,
Hmm.
the only you.
Yeah.
And then I remembered a story
Mm.
about me.
Mm.
Because for me I met the only me recently,
Mhm.
so that's
Tell me
why.
about that. Yeah.
So I believe I met me
Mm.
at 19, at the age of
Wow.
19.
Yeah.
So between the age of 19 and 23, I
Yeah.
was still trying to see how I can get out of the
Mm.
cover of who I believed I was.
Mm.
But not really like I believed who I was.
Mm.
But growing up, I grew up trying to impress people.
Mm.
So I didn't have an identity
Yeah.
because I didn't want to be me. I
Mm.
wanted to praise Olivia. I wanted to
Mm.
praise anybody that I met.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So when I turned 19, that's when I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Mm.
So it took like 2 years of trying to see who is Zoe now.
Mm.
So when I turned 23, I believe that's when I fully
Mm.
went into my own shoes and became the
Mm.
only me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It sounds like there is something special about the age 19 because me, I think like that age when I was 19, that's the age that changed my life so much.
Wow.
Yeah, not in the terms of identity per se, but that's the time when I was sure that I was ready to change my life.
Wow.
You know, the teen years can be so amazing
Yeah,
and
true.
so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just running through life, even as a girl child, you're just running through life. You're admiring yourself. You're trying out a few things.
Yeah.
The boys are hitting on you.
True.
You're having all these crushes.
Uh-huh.
You know, you feel free. I mean, to dance and show up. There is something about just being a teen girl and enjoying that time. But
Yeah.
then I think as we just flow into the end of our teen years, something just changes.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
just snaps and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a woman soon.
Mm-hmm.
you know what's next?
Yeah, what's
So,
next?
yeah.
Like, where are you going?
Hmm.
So I think like you just talked about like someone being a teenager.
Yeah.
So when I really look back,
Mm.
not even just me looking back, even
Mm.
the stories I hear from my mom
Yeah.
is like, okay, I wasn't a baby,
Mm.
I wasn't a teenager.
Yeah.
So I started living when I found the only me.
Mm.
So I wasn't that teenager because I didn't know who I was.
Mm.
I was this kind of teenager is trying
Mm.
like I don't know how someone just wakes up in the morning
Yeah.
and I know I'm going to meet Olivia.
Yeah.
So I try to dress the way Olivia wants me to dress.
Oh,
Not even
yes.
like she told me.
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Maybe if I had her say like, you know what?
Mm.
I like ladies who are like this.
Mm.
So I want to place her.
Mm.
So if I'm going to another place, I
Mm.
try to be in a cloud where people want them
Mm.
like
Oh,
what they
yes.
like, who they are,
Yeah.
not me.
Mm.
So I was always afraid of people telling me
Mm.
like, oh, I don't like that.
Mm.
I was afraid of people telling me,
Mm.
oh, this is not really good.
Mm.
So I don't think I enjoyed my teenage years,
Yeah.
like trying those new
Oh dear.
things like
Yeah.
other kids,
Yeah.
like being me,
Mm.
like being that outgoing guy.
Yeah.
You just want to do what you want to
Yeah.
do. No,
Mm.
I was too scared.
I know, right? And I also think as growing up as African girls and in
Hmm.
traditional families, I mean, the level at which we can enjoy our teen years It's very
Yeah.
limited.
True.
And the definition of what fun is, it's very strict. It's like we don't even use that word.
I know.
And then you talk about like mothers and you know, their role and their presence in our lives during our teen years
Mm-hmm.
and how that forms our identity.
True.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And it's so interesting. I don't know from your perspective you're going to share with me, but I think for me going through my teenage years as a girl, as an African girl, I rarely had my mom tell me about, identity. You have to be this, you have to be that. It was more of action. It
Mm-hmm.
was more of how you saw your mom live her life, what you saw her do. And
Yeah.
in that presence, in her actions, you just tell yourself, okay, so this is what it means to
True.
be a girl child. Yeah, you're at home, it's holidays, you see your mom wake up, she goes to the kitchen, she's, trying to make meals for the family. You just follow suit. You just follow your mom where she's going.
Yeah.
And sometimes, of course, our mothers would call us and tell us, hey, come, do this, do that. And in that way, our identity was formed. We knew that, as a girl child, as I grow to be a woman, I have to be taking care of people. I have to be cooking for people.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
have to be cleaning, such kind of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything, like
Mm,
a part of our identities in
mm,
as women, as ladies,
yeah.
has been built by
Mm,
observing.
mm,
Like you just observe what is surrounding you,
yeah.
and then you try like to fit in. You try
Mm,
to be that person,
mm,
and at some point, I feel like you lose you. You lose
oh
the only me,
yes,
the only
I
you that we're
know,
talking about right
right?
now.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's what I want. I
Mm.
don't know if that is exactly what I have to do.
You know?
I don't know if like if she's waking up at 5 a.m. I don't know if
Uh,
that's what I want it
Tell
that
me
to be my
about it,
schedule. And then because that's what I see, that's what
Yeah.
people are doing, that's what
Mm.
every neighbor is trying to do. So
Yeah.
I wake up. I don't
Mm.
sometimes you don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Because like when you move out of your mother's house
Mm.
and
Mm.
go, like you start living alone. You don't
Mm.
know what to do at
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
So you start wondering like what should I do? Like you
Mm.
lose yourself in the
Mm.
process of asking
Mm.
yourself different questions that you
Mm.
don't have answers for.
Mm.
So if someone had sat you down and
Mm.
told you like, you know what do you feel like? Who
Mm.
are you?
Mm.
Help you find that you.
Yeah.
Like it would be an easy journey for you to
Mm.
walk. But
True.
because you're just observing, like you're
Mm.
imitating,
Yeah.
you start imitating other people.
Mm.
And for me, there's this word I had like when I was in high school that they like imitations
Mm.
remit us.
Mm.
Like imitation
Mm.
remitations. So when you imitate, you
Mm.
remit yourself.
True.
Like
True.
you remit the potential that is in
Mm.
you.
Yeah, and that's so interesting, and it also like brings to mind like how for us today, I mean, why some girls maybe are really struggling to find the only them.
True.
It's because like we have our parents or our guardians who are from this generation,
Mm-hmm.
and for us we are currently in this generation. you know and we have this their generation is a generation of traditions, of
Uh-huh.
culture, of community. It's like
Mm-hmm.
identity was connected to community.
True.
How the collective defined things that became your identity.
Uh-huh.
And if you try to go outside of that, you are going to be judged or even, considered to be
True.
like, what's wrong, girl? What's wrong with your daughter? And that would definitely cause issues to our
Mm-hmm.
parents. But then we have here an era of the internet
Mm-hmm.
where everyone is giving you information of how you can find yourself.
Yeah.
So merging the two, like whose voice do I listen to?
Sure.
I understand where Mama is coming from and I respect her
Mm-hmm.
for her views, for her values. But then I have this other generation that promises me that I can find myself
True.
in a way that allows me freedom,
Uh-huh.
in a
Yeah.
way that allows me independence, and
Uh-huh.
where I also have a say in the person I want to be.
Uh-huh. Which is
Yeah.
actually good.
Mm,
Like like when we look back in the culture,
mm,
like I think our mothers also wanted to be something else. Like
Yeah.
they had
Oh.
this fire that was pulling them.
Mm.
But then the way they were raised and pulled is like a
Mm.
woman doesn't have to speak up.
Yeah.
So you have to bow, you have
Mm.
to like they're
Mm.
I don't know, like when you try to do what is different, it
Mm.
becomes a taboo. Like
Mm.
you're misbehaving,
Mm.
which is not really the truth.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to be you, you're trying
Yeah.
to show up the way you have to show up.
Yeah.
So that's I think at some point it
Mm.
also brings it destroys families.
Mm.
It destroys relationships between
Oh yes.
children and their mothers
Mm.
because you're trying to be you. Like
Mm.
for real, you're not trying to be
Mm.
that bad girl.
Yeah.
You're trying to be you, like the
Mm.
authentic you. But
Mm.
because that's not what culture told your mom,
Oh
they
yes.
try to feel like, oh, you're really going the wrong way.
Mm.
So everything has fallen apart
Mm.
because you're trying to embrace who you are.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. I agree. And this is such a big crisis today. You
True.
find that we've even lost that sense of just love and being present with our parents, because you're like, okay, I know how the talks are going to turn out. And I don't think I'm up for that, because
Mm-hmm.
we'll end up not understanding each other.
True.
It's really sad. It's really sad. So Zoe, you're like your life, it, between 19 and 23, that's like the time where you're like finding yourself. Is
Yeah.
there a specific time within those years, uh, a, a time that stood out for you, where like, I'm really sure of who I am right now? And what did that look like? What did you do during that time? What didn't you do?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's an amazing question.
Yeah.
Because like the first thing that told me like I was really there
Mm,
is when I woke up in the morning and
mm.
when I was going to dress up. I
Yeah.
didn't consider what the world was thinking.
Oh,
I didn't
yes.
consider the environment I was going to.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what fits Zoe.
Mm.
This is what looks good on
Yeah.
me. This is me.
Mm.
So when I didn't consider, oh, I'm meeting a church girl.
Mm.
So I have to be
I
in
know,
a skirt.
right?
I have
Yeah.
to be in a long skirt. I
Yeah.
have to cover everything. I
Mm.
don't have to have my piercing
Mm.
on. Like that moment was like, oh,
Yeah.
so I can do it.
Mm.
So I can go out without considering how
Yeah.
this person is going to be like, oh,
Mm.
so you know what? That's not how a Christian girl
Mhm,
looks
mhm,
like.
mhm.
So when people's measurements
Mm.
stopped like
Mm.
coming up into my life,
Mm.
when I chose what I wanted to eat,
Yeah.
not because I know that someone is going to be like, you know what?
Mm.
Oh, so you're this amount of kilograms and
Oh,
you're still
dear.
eating
I
this.
know, right?
So when I didn't
Yeah.
care that I'm in public and
Mm.
I'm eating chips,
Mm.
so I was like, oh, I've reached there.
Mm.
Like embracing that me because
Yeah.
this is what I want in this moment.
Mm.
Because the whole wait, if I can say the whole
Mm.
hell was like
Mm.
so me trying to impress people,
Mm.
it's because like I was so
Mm.
emotional.
Oh, yes.
Like my emotional intelligence was too high.
Mm.
So if people saw me and they
Mm.
made a comment,
Mm.
it's just a comment.
Yeah.
I don't even think people would remember what they say.
Mm.
But to me, it really stuck into my head,
Yeah,
into
of
my heart,
course.
and
Yeah.
deep down.
Mm.
So I used to carry the whole
Mm.
garbage with me.
Mm.
So if I'm going back to an environment,
Mm.
if I go maybe, oh, I don't know which example to give.
Mm.
So for example, mostly like I remember this time when I saw that I was really dying, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
There's this like friend of mine who we met,
Mm.
and for her where they go to church,
Mm.
like they do long skirts
Yeah.
and they cover their whole bodies. They're
Yeah.
not Muslims,
Mm.
but that's what they do.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, I was like, so if I'm going to meet so and so,
Mm.
I have to be dressed like that.
Oh, man. Oh,
And being
man.
honest, she never asked me that.
I know, right?
It's just because when she brings out stories,
Yeah,
she'll be like,
she
you know
tells you
what,
that.
this is what
Yeah.
is good.
Mm.
So this is what is good in
Yeah.
her own opinion.
Of course.
But then
of
why
course.
should I take it home and
Yeah.
bring it to be me?
Mm.
So that's when I knew I don't have an identity.
Mm.
I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know what I like. I don't know
Mm.
what I have to choose for
I
myself.
know, right?
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, so this is not where I have to
Mm.
stay.
Mm.
So it was a journey,
Yeah.
like really a journey. I remember like I never used to choose my own
Mm.
hairstyle.
Mm.
Like I had to listen to
Yeah.
people's opinions and
Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
So if someone tells me, you know what, can you put red on your head? Can
I
you put
know,
like what if
right?
it's what I
But
want?
the shape of your head is
Uh-huh.
like this. This would
So-
look nice on you. Yeah.
So I'm just like going from my house, knowing
Yeah.
exactly I don't like what's on my head.
Mm.
But because so and so said that's what looks
I
good
know, right?
because of the shape of my head.
Yeah.
And I just have to show up like
Yeah.
that. And it's like a whole month of showing up in
Yeah.
that style,
Mm.
not liking what I have.
I
But
know.
because I didn't know who I am.
Mm.
Like, because when you stand, like the moment all those things, like
Mm.
that whole trash was gone,
Yeah.
and I could wake up in the morning and
Mm.
just show up as me,
Mm.
the way I want to show up.
Mm.
That's when I knew
Mm.
I found Zoe.
Mm.
Like, now this is the girl that I have to
Mm.
be.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the freedom that comes with that.
Yeah, a
Oh
whole lot of
my.
freedom.
Oh my. There is something about finding yourself that just frees you.
Yeah,
And the
sure.
beauty of it is that it does not just free you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
going to, I mean, pour into every person you meet. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I always know someone who has informed themselves by how they are they easily judge other people,
Yeah.
whereby they're like, okay, look at how that person is dressed. Look at, what that person is eating. Look at, how the person is doing that and that. And I'm like, friend,
Like, really?
if you are so focused on finding yourself
Yeah.
and living fully in who you are and embracing that, you wouldn't be minding how other people are living their lives.
That's true.
More, you would maybe be burdened if their choices are leading them into self harm or
Uh-huh.
doing things that are
Yeah.
affecting them. But I mean, the way you're dressed, how is that, affecting anybody?
I
I mean, the
know.
way you talk or the color of your hair, how is that affecting me or anybody else? It shouldn't,
True.
you know. And if you are happy with your decision and your choice, then I should be cheering you on,
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
And that's the thing, more so in us, like being women. I mean, I love that we are women. Of course, it comes with its own natural challenges, but it
Yeah.
also comes with the beauty that we are not tapping into fully, but this beauty of being empathetic and
Yeah.
understanding and nurturing
Uh-huh.
and loving people and caring for
Mm-hmm.
people. But now that is kind of lost today,
Yeah.
lost in a way that some people think collectively the identity of women is just gossiping and judging
I
people.
know.
I
I
know.
don't know when this time to
And
be an
spitting on the
identity.
young girls. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's happening? Where did we lose the way?
Uh-huh.
And it reminds me of one thing that I really admire from the traditional women or our mothers
Mm-hmm.
is how they lived collectively as a community of women. And you
True.
never had these wrangles.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they all had their issues, their own problems.
Mm-hmm.
But from my perspective, I would never hear like my mom spit on another woman's name.
True.
I think that's something I've always admired from
Mm-hmm.
her. No matter what was happening in another family, women were supposed to protect,
True.
protect people's reputations, protect fellow women, and be there to support other women. That was the identity in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something we are losing today. And I'm like, what's happening?
Completely.
Yeah.
Like, it has really been lost.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about it, it has been lost. Like, I was thinking about, like, in the tradition,
Mm.
when a woman would, for example, have their own first period,
Yeah.
like, you would feel like running to your
Mm.
mother, running to a
Mhm.
woman that is
Yeah.
there. You feel protected.
Mm.
But if you even look at schools right now, the first thing that a lady does is laughing at the other
I
sister.
know.
So it shows you like we have really lost
Yeah.
that thing of like being protective, protecting our own selves, like being protective of the other.
Yeah.
So if I go in my periods and the first thing a lady does is laughing
Yeah.
at me, it shows that we have lost it all.
Mhm.
Because the first thing they would do is like first like asking you, are you fine? Is everything okay?
True,
And then they
true.
try to help you. Like it's like lifting your clone.
Oh, yes.
Instead of them losing it and throwing it away.
know,
They are
right?
protecting you.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to show up in the whole cloud, maybe dirty.
Yeah.
So they try to protect you.
I know,
And this
right?
is what our mothers were doing in their time.
Yeah.
But right now,
Mm.
like women are being inspired by
Yeah.
destroying their other
Yeah.
friends. Like I tell you something, you're
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
Zoe.
know, right?
So
And then you go
can-
around spreading gates all
Uh-huh.
around the block, and you're like, eh.
and they
What's
feel power.
happening?
And so
Yeah.
they feel empowered,
I
destroying
know.
your name.
Mhm.
And this is I don't know how like even find the strength.
Yeah.
Like I'm going through a hard time,
Mm.
and then I can feel like I can confide in my other
Yeah.
friend,
Mm.
because I feel like if she is a lady, she
Yeah.
understands what I'm going
I
through.
mean,
She
yeah.
knows like how hard it can be,
Mm.
and then she just like,
Mm.
I don't even feel like they listen.
Mm.
At some point, we don't even listen to
We
our
no longer
friends.
listen. Yeah.
We are just trying to
Mm.
give them that time so
Oh
that we can
yes.
get
Yeah.
what to say,
Yeah, I know,
and
right?
we've lost
Yeah.
in that way. And the other thing is like them, like you don't listen.
Mm.
I don't know how to bring this. It's
Mm.
not like they listen.
Mm.
They're just there so that they can
Yeah.
get your time and
I
go
know,
talk
right?
about what you just told them.
Yeah, and it's so amazing that we're using this power we have as women, because
Mhm.
I mean, God has blessed us with the power to talk.
I know.
But that's a power that should be constructive,
True.
that we should use well. I mean, to inspire other
Mhm.
people, to encourage each other, to even, I mean, just have conversations that are life giving.
True.
But I don't know whether we just don't have the community where we can easily sit and talk about life as women. That now it's easy. Oh, someone tells me something, I just run it to the other person, and the
Yeah.
circle just keeps going. And before you know, we are hurting each other. And if there is something sad that affects a community, is when we stop trusting each other.
True.
Because I mean, then what are we going to do if there is no trust? That means we are not easily going to work together.
True.
We are not going to dream together. We are not going to have fun together. I don't know about others, but for me, trust is very crucial. I
Yeah,
mean, even
it
just
is.
hanging out with someone, I have to trust them. So if we lost like that sense of trust, it's like we've lost the starting point of all insecure human relationships that we
That's
should be
true.
having. And yet, so it's even just a call as we are having this conversation
Yeah.
to encourage women. I mean, God has blessed us. He's bestowed in us all this power to speak.
Mhm.
Let's use it well.
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, this heart of listening and empathizing with people, let's listen with an open heart.
True.
The times are changing,
They are.
Zoe. I mean, they have changed, and young girls are struggling today to find themselves.
True.
But there is a way we've divided ourselves in all these small, small cubicles of whether it's religion or
Mhm.
different, social aspects that bring us together, that we are now about pointing a finger
Mhm.
and judging. Oh, look at how that person is doing this. Oh, look at how that girl is doing this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And then because we want to understand things, we easily label.
Yeah.
Oh, because they are doing that, they are this. We already put them in a
Oh,
box. We
yeah.
lock them inside of the door. And it's like we just be like that person, we've already labeled them and put them on that side.
Yeah.
They are no longer a part of us. And that is very sad and heartbreaking. That today girls are like, where do I fit in? When everyone is labeling me,
True.
and everyone is throwing me out. The way you dress, the way you speak, the way you show up, that does not fit in this cubic of ours, in this box we've built. And sometimes don't even call it a box. We think
Yeah.
that that's the way of life, that's the norm.
True.
We are so out of touch with reality, with what's happening,
True.
that we're just building this big bridge between generation this and generation
I
that,
know.
you know.
Yeah.
But whether we like it or not, this generation, these are the women of today, of tomorrow. These are going to be the mothers. I mean, these are going to be the wives to your sons. So you want to try and bring them close, and invest the healthy habits you have
in them.
in them, instead of just closing them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we women should start thinking about.
Mhm.
Mothers, girls, like we are sisters. So building the sisterhood
Yeah.
has to eliminate all those things, like all
Yeah.
those blocks that we've built.
Mm.
Because I going to a different church with you doesn't mean that I should destroy you.
Mhm.
I not wearing the way you think I should be wearing, because that's a thought in you.
Yeah.
At some point, you don't even know if that style would really fit me, how it would even
I know,
look on
right?
me.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to wake up in the morning and feel like, oh,
Mm.
if Zoe has to be my friend, if
Yeah.
Zoe has to be in the sisterhood,
Yeah.
she has to be so and
I
so.
know, right?
Because like I feel like the beauty is us being different,
Of course. Of
but
course.
working together.
Yeah.
Like we be different
Mm.
because I have my own creativity,
Mm.
you have your own creativity.
Yeah.
So bringing those creativities together makes the beauty of the sisterhood.
True.
But then
True.
if we want everything to be on a standard of
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
of where I come from,
Mm.
actually you don't even know
I
that person who
know.
is telling you to be so and so,
Yeah.
if that's who they are.
Mhm.
Maybe they were also trained to be that.
Yeah.
Maybe they were also, it's something they just put on them. It's a projection
Yeah.
from somewhere, maybe
True.
from where they grew up, maybe from where, from who raised them, maybe from a podcast they were listening
know,
to.
right?
So
Yeah.
you're not even sure if that's you.
Yeah.
And then you want me to be that person.
I know.
So we are also going into a world of unknown.
Yeah.
So where is the beauty of the sisterhood? Where is the beauty of creativity? And if we bring that creativity together, we are all thriving.
True.
Like everyone is thriving in their own way, but in a way that holds us. Like I don't have a problem, I don't have an issue with sharing with my sister in the sisterhood. I don't have an issue like when I go out, I know that there's every lady, if it's in a bus or if it's in a working environment, I know I can confide in them. But guess what? Like we go back to work, everyone is like, oh, I know these women, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to spread this.
I know.
So you find them even worrying
sad.
in a, for example, like you have this problem. Instead of running to a lady who would support you in a protective way, you are running to a guy. And at some point they might even use that as an advantage. And you end up going in another wrong way. If you would have gone to a lady, you wouldn't be like facing those kind of problems. And then the reason why you're going through that is because you don't trust the sisterhood. So if we rebuild the sisterhood, I think like we are removing a lot of challenges that women and ladies are facing today.
Yeah, true. I agree with you, my dear. And also, I think how we build the sisterhood will always go back to how we as women or ladies embrace femininity.
Yeah.
Embrace us being women. To know that, okay, there are things we can excel at.
Yes.
And there are things we can't. It's simple like that.
I
mean, very, very simple. It's black and white, but we complicate it. And before you know, it's affecting our esteem, how we view ourselves, everything.
Yeah.
And then you said something, Zoe, still about the sisterhood. And it reminded me that it's actually very easy to get to know people.
Yeah.
All you have to do is to ask. But we don't want to ask. Instead of me approaching Zoe and I'm like, oh, Zoe, I mean, I've been seeing you showing up like this. Would you want to tell me more about that? What's happening?
Yeah.
We go to the back and you're like, have you seen how Zoe has been showing up these days?
And you don't
like, what's wrong with that? You know what's happening?
And you're leaving the right person who has the right information.
The right information.
And then you're asking someone
I
else.
tell you.
And they create a story.
They create a story. You know? And there is, I want to show that we care about each other. They're like, oh, I think I had this. You know? Just to pretend as though we care. Because if we say, I don't know, which would be the truth and the perfect truth.
Yeah.
We're like, I think this is happening. I heard this is happening. And then stories are interpreted differently, like from one person to the other. Yeah. Communication is being lost. The truth is being lost in interpretation. And by the time it reaches to the person that has to get the answer they need, everything has been lost.
Yeah.
You know, misconceptions are created.
Sure.
Sadly, even reputations of girls are tarnished in the process.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's why it's very essential for us to go back to embracing the truth. True. I always tell people, like, why is the truth hard? I mean, and us to know that the truth is not about the person you're telling it to. The truth is about you.
Yeah.
My truth should empower me. You know, I should learn from it. I learn from the choices I've made. That's part of being a human being.
Yeah.
That you're going to mess up. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to fail. And all that will be part of your story.
Yeah.
All that will be your truth. And for us to even reduce this gossip, that we have in the sisterhood or in our communities, we should embrace our truth and tell it to people, not everybody, but the people that really seek for it and the people that care for us.
Yes.
So that once those rumors and false narratives reach to them, they already know the truth. They've heard it from us. But the challenge is we are also living this the secretive lives. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. We are being so secretive.
Yes.
In that even the simple things, Zoe, the simple things we still don't confide into the people we claim we love.
Yeah.
The people that really care for us, our friends, we don't tell them. And yet how, word moves faster, because it's like the more we talk, it's what keeps fueling us to go. Definitely someone is going to spread something about you.
Yeah.
As long as you exist in the community, there is a narrative somewhere,
like it or not,
about you that you didn't even contribute about, but it's spreading.
Wow.
And anytime it will either get into your ear or reach to the people that genuinely care about you.
Yeah.
And they'll be confused and they're like, okay, why did this person tell us about this? Yeah. So, even in forming our identity, we should embrace our truth, like so much.
Yeah.
And then tell our truth to the people we love, to the people who love us, to the people who see us, who really care, not throwing it all around.
Yeah, you just talked about something like rumors being spread.
Yeah.
I remember the time I got saved because I grew up in a Muslim family.
Yeah.
So I bypassed these women and they were talking and they were like, do you know what? Back home, everyone calls me Ziada. And everyone was saying like, do you know what? Ziada is getting married to a Christian guy. So I was so interested because they were talking about me and I didn't know about what is going on.
Sometimes people talk and you're like, okay, amen, I receive.
And guess what? They didn't know the girl they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they knew me, they would have seen me and be like, okay, let's cut the story.
I know, right?
So they didn't know.
Yeah.
They just knew my mom and they were just sharing a story.
Oh, dear.
So I stood there and I was listening. I was like, okay, let me wait for this guy. Maybe someone told me. Maybe someone told them they're coming for me. But it was just like a story being created so that I can be destroyed.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, this guy's not just going for Christ. She's going because of something.
I know, right?
So
isn't that the thing that each time, Zoe, we make a decision that's empowering for us, where we are not seeking people's points of views, people always interpret it in a way that demeans us, in a way that puts us down.
True.
But that's the beauty of finding yourself. That's the beauty of, your identity growing and you having a strong sense of self. You're like, please go on. Go on, because I know time would justify my choice. Time would justify why I took this path. I know that.
That's true.
So, I mean, if you gossiping and spreading all those lies helps you, go on.
Yeah.
And it's also like my act of kindness to you that I give you something to talk about, make your life exciting.
Maybe that's what is making you join the community.
I know, right? Because you have, a free way to make up all those stories.
Yeah, you've been isolated for some time and now you have something to share.
To share. It really surprises me because I just imagine how amazing it would be if we really had all that time to talk and share. And we are really scratching our brains for solutions. Solutions that are constructive, talking about issues that are affecting us as women. Because there are many. Zoe.
Yeah, true.
And I know you know that. We're always in these spaces together. Like there are many issues that are affecting us as women. But when we meet to talk, we're not talking about those issues. We are talking about the people who have the issues. We are talking about the person behind, someone who we didn't even take the time to understand their stories.
Yeah.
Because I always think that if we took the time before judging someone to just understand their story, even a little bit, would be more compassionate.
Sure.
We would know why they make the choices they make.
Yeah.
Why they live their life the way they live. And then we could give good advice that's aligned, that's beneficial to them as an individual.
Yeah.
Instead of like when someone is um, let's say sometimes us girls struggle with different disorders.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because of our body images, because that's one thing we struggle with. And the words people, I mean, I struggle with my body image for long. I still do. I just have to remind myself that I'm fearful and wonderful in bed.
Amen.
Otherwise, ooh. So, because of that struggle, because of struggling with that, it creates some habits, or you adopt some habits that could be unhealthy for you, depending on the environment you're in, or what you have accessible to you as you work on being a healthy version of yourself. So sometimes you find that some of us girls, we end up getting into unhealthy eating habits, or what they call eating disorders.
Yeah.
Because we want to look a certain way. And that's the easy thing for us, skipping meals and doing all this other stuff. But then someone will just see you skipping a meal and they will just judge you immediately. Oh, they're skipping a meal. They want to be a model or something like that. Like, friend, the girl is not aiming to be a model.
Yeah.
This is beyond that. She's working on being accepted because of what she's been told all these years.
Yeah.
And if you just sit in her story, you know that this choice didn't just come out of the blue. This is something she was told when she was 4 years old or 5 years old. And these are stories that have turned into nightmares that are always eating her up in sleep. Sure. And now that they are at a certain age, they're like, maybe I have to do something about this.
Yeah.
Like
I remember like when I was 15.
Yeah.
Most of the ladies, like, we were in the same dormitory and no one was eating lunch.
Yeah.
No one was taking dinner.
I know, right?
So some of them, like, at some point we don't know, but I know I met some ladies who had ulcers because of that.
Yeah.
Like, people are taking different stuff because someone told them that this is going to heal you. So I personally, if I didn't grow up in a household that was loving, I tell you, I don't know, I wouldn't be here because of those critics. People tell you, like, you just wake up in the morning, someone just says something like, this is how God created you. Like, as you say, like, I'm fearfully and wonderful made. But how many people take that time to tell you that? True. And then you find at some point you're being destroyed by women, like by the ladies.
I mean, that's the worst.
Yeah, it really hurts because how does someone just wake up and just critiques about a specific part of your body?
I know, right?
And you just grow up and something just grows, or it doesn't grow.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Like, so like when we reach this time of puberty, someone tells you like, every girl has to you have wide hips.
I mean, who tells you?
So I don't know if they don't come over too. Yeah. I don't have a say in that. I don't have a do in that.
Yeah.
But then you're telling me, look at other ladies. Yeah. So that is how God blessed them. And this is how God blessed me. Instead of telling me that, do you have an alternative of what I can do? Instead of just commenting and leaving me broken.
An alternative and a healthy one.
A healthy one.
Yeah.
Because if you just comment, you're living with me garbage. For real, like, I feel like you find like you're calling a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. You take it back home. So you start comparing yourself to other ladies, to other women. Yeah. And for real, being honest, most of the time, the people that like openly communicate, openly comment on us are our fellow women. They're the ones who are going to tell you, like, you know what, right? Zoe, you're still that big.
I know, right?
This is how I've been.
I'm like, I just never get it.
Like, why are you asking me? This is how I've been. So maybe if you start me down and be like, okay, this new system or this new terrain that is out there. I've seen other women go there, people who have been trying to lose weight, and I feel it would be good for you. But then you're just saying, oh, you're still like that. Like, you've been seeing a problem with me for some good time. Yeah. So I'm going to even go back home and ask me. So she never appreciated me. Even the other time she told me that the dress looked good on me. It wasn't good. Yeah. So I start judging myself. I started feeling like I start dying within. Yeah. And it doesn't heal anything. Yeah.
And also, like, sometimes what we call openness, for me, it's like insecurity. Yeah. And jealousy and envy. And we hide it in the name of, I am a blunt person. I I tell the truth. Like, trust me, nothing is worse than an insecure and insensitive woman.
True.
Because that is the kind of woman that hurts all the women they meet, that makes life hard for other girls.
Yeah, for other.
And I don't know like how God created us as women, but it's easy for us to find safety among fellow women.
Sure.
So if you take that gift away from the young ladies that you're meeting or from the fellow women you are meeting, I mean, you're doing a disservice to the entire female gender.
Yeah.
So if there is something that women have to work on, even before working with their bodies, is there like, I mean, sense of confidence, so that you are not insecure and insensitive.
Yeah.
You know, because this is the thing about us, which personally I think is a power, but if not used well, can turn out to be very, very terrible. I think naturally women are created to be sensitive.
That's true.
You know, to be nurturing and caring.
Yeah.
So imagine if you go at the opposite side of what you've been created to be. You're just going to cause havoc and a lot of chaos.
Sure.
Because that's not your power. So you're going to distort it and use it in the wrong way. And whatever you say, even though it's the truth, it's going to cause more harm than good. Then actually, if it was coming from maybe a man, because someone, as a lady, I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. You're not sheltered in my body. You've never been sheltered in a female body. I mean, I don't care.
You don't know what it is like to live in here.
Yeah, you don't know what it is. But now this person that's sheltered in a female body, they know how it is to be a woman. I mean, you just have to exist as a woman as a month and see all these different emotions you go through. That are natural, that you can't do anything about, and how your body just keeps changing.
Yeah.
And then you go out and, just spit all that insensitivity on, young girls. Of course, they're going to be affected. Their esteem is going to be affected. And then we grow to have a community where women are no longer existing with each other. Where we decide that the best friends are male friends, and if we can't have them, because that comes with also its own challenges, if we can't have them and keep them, then I'd rather be alone. And then we have lonely women, and we know what loneliness does. A lot of depression, a lot of wrong thoughts, a lot of so and so. But then you're like, this is something I always think about, and I think about why people choose to be alone. Because you're like, if I'm alone, then I'm safe, because no one will hurt me when I'm alone.
Yeah.
No one will say the words I hate to hear. No one will tell me, don't do that or that. So safety is best held and best kept when I'm alone in my own space. And then we miss out on all this beauty of humanity.
Yeah.
Because Zoe, God created us to exist, to have relationships,
to
socialize, to be there for each other, to cheer on each other, to support each other, to love each other.
Yes.
But I think that all that is wasted just because of how we choose to use our words and how we choose to speak into someone else's life. Yeah.
I think like all of us have to come back to that, because I believe right now as we are speaking, there are women who have already chosen isolation.
Yeah.
Like they're just isolating because they've been hurt, because they've been destroyed, and they can't carry it anymore. Like they don't give you time to even process what you've went through. I just meet you in the morning, I don't know what you went through last night, what you went through in your mother's household, and then I also
you just add that pain and
so it's a call to every lady, every woman that remember that this is a community. So the only thing I can do is showing kindness. If I meet you in a bus, if I meet you at a shop, if I meet you anywhere, let me be kind. Let me just say something good to you. Because there's always something good that you can bring instead of caring about what is wrong. Just give value what is good. True. And speak about that. Because maybe that person you're meeting, they've never had someone talk about the good thing about them. everyone they meet in the community talks about what is wrong,
What's
and no one
wrong?
has
Yeah.
ever told them about
Yeah.
something good about them.
Yeah.
So that's the kindness that we can spread.
True, sister.
Whoever we meet, let's just bring out something, pop out of our mouth that is good about them.
I agree with you, my dear. And for the girls that are listening to this, or the parents that are listening to this, what would you advise them as they start working on their identity? What are the basics? What should be the foundations?
So to me, first of all, I would say like really, it is a journey that I would say that it's good when you like move at your own pace. First of all, consider moving at your own pace, because for me it was just an age gap of 19 to 23. So maybe for you it can take longer, it can be shorter, depending on how you grew up, depending on how destroyed you've been. So take it at your own pace. And the other thing is like you just first have to talk to your inner self. Some people even wonder what is an inner self, because we are running away from that person. Because anytime you're doing something that is not you, there's something within you that tells you that this is not right. Even though you're showing up like this, it is not right. Even though I'm smiling, this is not what I should be doing. Even though I'm talking badly, this is not what I should be doing. So listen to that person. What exactly are they telling you? So if possible, journal that. Like get a journal and start writing, because the more you write, the more you now understand who you are. So through those thoughts that you've written down, now start embracing them. Like, how can I move? For example, if it starts like from the dressing code, if it starts from the way I speak, some people are not like, they're not themselves the way they speak. I'm trying to speak like someone because they told me they have a nice voice. So how, like, start with little things, and give yourself grace. Because it really does hurt when you look back and you see like you've never lived a single day as you. So it hurts, and you'll be like, oh, why didn't I do this? This was really normal. This was really good. So offer yourself some grace and walk at your own pace. And then after writing all those thoughts, start on like, give yourself like, what can I start with? So slowly by slowly, you're going to end up one day, like you're just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, I've reached there. So I had to start with this, and this was what it was next, this and this. So I'm there. And I also just know, keep in mind that some relationships are going to be destroyed.
Of course.
Like really. And sometimes they start in your own household. Like you're really going to, you find sometimes your mother doesn't also understand. Like your sisters don't understand what is going on. But if that's what is you, if that's who you are, at some point you're going to be like, oh, I really love the new person that you become. They're also going to embrace that.
True. Thank you so much, Gal. And that's a hard truth, but it's the reality. That once we start finding ourselves, once we start being intentional, because this is the thing, I mean, finding yourself comes with power. It's going to give you power as a person on who should be in your life, who shouldn't be in your life, what you choose to do, how you spend your time.
I know.
It brings all this clarity that's freeing, that just gives you freedom. And that means you stand up to the very people that you always used to say yes to. And you're like, no. We are not doing that today. Because your energy is focused now on the person you are becoming, on the person you know that you can become. So it's very essential that each of us works on finding ourselves. And the reason I like, or the reason I love for people to find themselves is because this is what I believe, Zoe. I believe that God created us, all of us, uniquely.
True.
I mean, there is one you. That's not a doubt. We might share different experiences as human beings, but there is that part that's truly yours. That's uniquely yours. And each time you don't find that uniqueness and bring it in the world, humanity is missing out. I mean, we are missing out on the light that you can give, on the joy you can give, on all this beauty that only you can bring out and reflect in the world and make it a better place. So, and as women, I mean, we make magic. We make magic if we just choose to be like, okay, where is that thing that's only uniquely mine? that God created me for, or God put in me, let
Yeah.
me dig it out and bring it in the world and share it with other people. And that's how we get to live,
Yeah. True.
because life, we can just make it boring
Yes.
by standing in people's shadows and existing
Mm-hmm.
as them,
Yeah.
because if all of us we're in the same community and we are behaving the same and eating the same and walking the same and
That's
oh,
so boring.
I mean, it's so boring. And remember, our identity is created often in what we believe in.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, okay, I truly believe in God and I know that I'm uniquely created, I'm the best thing that has ever existed,
Yeah.
I'm wonderfully made, but oh, I don't I don't see the wonders
I know.
with the people I'm belonging with.
Yeah.
Then there is something wrong, you
True.
know? And so we shouldn't be lazy to dig into the depth of finding ourselves. And
Yes.
that will mean that we cut off
Sure.
on the ears that are, whether people listening to us or the mouths that are speaking into our lives, those
Mm-hmm.
tongues, we cut them off. You're like, I'm no longer taking your word anymore.
True.
I believed in what you told me for long,
Mm-hmm.
but it has not yielded any good.
Yeah.
It has not helped me in any
Yes.
way.
Yes.
So definitely, maybe I need to listen to someone else, or better, start listening to my inner self, just like you
Yeah.
said. Journal very well and see the patterns. Because the thing is, sometimes our identity is connected to these patterns that are continuously reflecting or coming back in our lives.
Yeah.
If we find that, oh, okay, each time I'm with a group of people, this is how I behave.
Yes.
But this is not just a behavior, this is something that comes natural to me and is something that's fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to believe that if I'm truly created to be this particular person, then those traits should be empowering to me. They
Yeah.
shouldn't, disempower or take away from me,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
then I lose myself.
Mm-hmm.
So if all the choices I'm making continuously are empowering, are life giving, are transforming not just me, but the people I'm spending
Yes.
time with, then those are things I should build on.
Yeah, sure.
My identity is tied to that. I
Mm-hmm.
just have to dig deeper to now start saying, okay, this is who I am. I am this, that, and that.
True.
And as you know that down, it gives you clarity.
Sure.
Even as women, it's important that we scratch our heads some more.
Yeah.
Note things down, read them, understand them,
Mm-hmm.
believe them,
Yeah.
and we see how life goes.
True.
Yeah. And we also exist or live in times whereby there is a way nature, divinity, God has connected as human beings that we have to kind of feed,
Mm-hmm.
on each other or from each other. I don't know the right whatever to use. Yeah, that's my identity. I just call it out of it.
Oh.
Anyway, so Zoe, because when we are growing up as children and as girls, our identity is formed from the words people tell us.
Yeah.
The people that surround us, our parents, our friends, our aunties.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have to put some emphasis on that because so, all the things they tell us kind of make who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reach in our teen years, because I mean those are the years of freedom. Every girl should enjoy their teen years.
No, because once they are gone, they are gone.
You enter into this serious phase of where you're like, now everyone is looking at their clock, like counting your biological clock. Time is running out. Time is running out. And you're like, okay, where is it running to?
I know.
Yeah. So the teen years are very, very essential. And these are the years that we get to meet many girls from different circles.
Yes.
If you'll privileged to go to school, you find that you'll interact with many, many girls.
Sure.
And you find everyone is coming their own baggage, their own difference, their own perception. For me, that was very intriguing for me in my teen years, and I think I liked it. Because this is the time when we either lose it, and once we survive these years, then we'll keep going. Life will keep, progressing.
Wow.
And then at that time, also these girls are teaching you different things.
Mm-hmm.
Some from the traditions they carry from their homes, some from the things they're also learning from school.
Yeah.
And then at that time, also as girls, you get to create your own narratives.
Sure.
Of what should be, of what shouldn't. And then that follows us in a way in our 20s, and it forms now who we truly become.
Sure.
Yeah, so getting all of that and trying to work your identity from that can be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Can be a lot of work.
True.
Because you just have all these voices and you're like, okay, what should I listen to?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, but when Aunt so spoke and told me this, I liked how that made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's who I am.
And it's still a maybe.
It's still a maybe. And then you take that route, and then you realize, it was a wrong choice.
Yeah.
That's not who I want to be. Maybe it makes me happy, but that's not who I want to be.
Yeah, that's not who, like, the moment you reach at a certain point, you don't know what's next.
Yeah, you don't know what's next.
That's when you know this is not you.
I know.
Because if it was you, you will always have the next.
True.
Like, there's a next page for you.
Agree.
But then if it's not you, like, you get stuck. So you'll be like, what's next?
Yeah, what's next? And it reminds me that we have to allow ourselves grace, in this journey of finding ourselves.
A whole lot of it.
Yeah, because you're going to be stuck so much. And I realized, I used to think that, self-awareness is like a place you reach at, a destination. You're like, okay, bring it on. I'm now aware of myself.
Not really.
Zoe, I was in for a shock. And this was a recent shock. I mean, me? I should be aware of who I am. I should know my triggers. I should know my strength. I should know, like, everything.
No.
And then you find it's a journey.
Not really. Because it always gets good when you start, like, the little thing.
Yeah.
Like the little freedom you get. You feel like, oh, I've reached there.
Yeah.
Maybe you've just worked on one particular thing.
Yeah.
Maybe stopping people's voices. And you're like, the moment I stopped people's voices from entering my heart and changing my mood, I've reached there, but not really. So, like, you keep digging deeper. So that's why, like, it takes a whole lot of grace. Because at some point you'll be like, oh, I was wrong. Someone was right. So forgiving yourself, knowing that, you know what, I took this route instead of taking that route, so it's okay. I can still turn back and go on that route. So that is maybe how I can find myself. And that thing of cutting out people, so you now know this is a friend, this is a person I know. That was something that I didn't know in my life. I always felt like everyone was my friend. So the act of me starting to group people was a hard journey. So it wasn't just about not everyone having a voice over what I think. So when I reached there, I was like, yeah, I've reached there. But then the act of thinking that everyone in my circle is my friend. So if I meet you at church, you're my friend. If I meet you in the market, you're my friend. No. So that act of starting to group people. And then, you know, like, this is a person I know. This is a co-worker.
Oh, yes.
So this is like, that whole thing. And also at some point you find like you're cutting out family. That's the hard part. How do I go on one of my aunties or my uncles and tell them no? How do they call me for a family gathering because I know I still have a trigger, because I know I'm not yet there and I have to cut this off. And in a polite way, because if I've been broken, I don't have to break other people in my process of healing, in the process of finding myself. So how do I say a polite no and also not like judge myself? Because for me, the process will be like, Zoe, I know I don't want to go here because I know when I reach there, so and so is going to break me. And I haven't reached a place where I cannot be broken. And then whenever I say no, I'm in my room and I'm like, So we think about that. You've let other people go alone. People needed you. Like, I start now judging myself. I'm not fine where I am. So that place, like, where you offer yourself grace and tell yourself, you know what? So this is for you, not for other people. Why do you want to put everyone's happiness before your own happiness? And if you don't go there, it's okay. So they can get an alternative, but think about your own healing. Think about finding the only you. So if you know this process, this step that I'm going to take, if I know that this phone call is going to take me back, this journey I've been walking, I'm not going to take it. If it takes me to delete your number for some time, at some point I was like, I have to do it. Like doing that. If it takes you, like, for example, the hardest time, because we know how close daughters and their moms are. But some women, at some point, that it takes you not to meet them occasionally. It takes, like, you can take a break, maybe once in 6 months. If, because sometimes you're going through your garbage and you find the whole almost 90% of what is in you is because of them.
I know, right?
And it's not because they didn't love you. That's the only way they were taught how to love people.
True.
So it's not them. So, and it also takes another journey to understand that the way someone treated you was not about them. It was also because that's how they were treated. Some people just go out and speak. Some like, they always want people to be the way they are. They like to take them in a direction, because to them, when they were growing up, no one gave them an opportunity to voice up.
Oh dear.
So this time they are grown-ups, and I feel like they have to voice up even something that doesn't have to be voiced up. So every opportunity they get, they have to talk. So at some point it becomes like it's pain that is showing up.
I know.
So the grace of understanding other people, because the process of healing will also take you, the process of finding yourself will take you at some point to be understanding, but not to understanding, to a level that you forget what the journey that you're on. So if it's taking breaks, if it's broken and unbroken, be ready to do that, because in the process of finding yourself, like, all that happens, it really does happen, because if you don't do that, you stay there.
I agree. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you too.
I agree. And I think we do justice to the world when we choose to love ourselves first. Like we always say, we can only give who we are. I mean, if I've taken time to work on me, to love myself, to embrace whatever it is I choose to embrace, I'm going to extend that same grace to the other people and wish the same for them. So, and you brought up something about healing, which is very, very crucial. And back in the day, I mean, counseling or therapy, it wasn't really expensive, because it was simply talking to people. And sometimes that's all it takes. And even today it's still the same. And I agree that there was pain. Our parents' heart, our granny's heart, but it's so also, it's interesting how long they lived healthy, strong lives.
True.
And I want to believe it's because they existed as a community.
Where
the women knew that we'll meet somewhere for the harvest, and we'll talk, and we'll encourage each other, and we'll I mean, gossip about our husbands and complain about our sons. And wonder what our daughters are doing with their lives. And that helped them,
because they knew that they're not going to find it at home.
I know. That helped them to stay sane and to clear their mind. Because this is the thing about the truth. Unfortunately, when you say the truth, it frees you as a person who is saying it. I'll not say it empowers the listener. It might not. It might end up jailing the person who is listening to it, because now they're going to carry your truth. Most of it, if it's the hard truth and it's nasty, and they'll be like, oh no, I can't believe that person did that. And maybe if the person you trusted with the truth, they're a mature person, definitely they'll not disclose your information. And they'll sleep with it. That's why it's good to believe in God. I mean, you get to carry people's mess,
Mm-hmm.
and you just bring it to God. You're like, I don't understand.
But you
Yeah,
do.
please, God, let me pack it here. You created this person.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way of, dealing with them because you are just, you are loving, and you understand better than I
Yeah.
could ever understand their situation. So
True.
it always helped our communities.
Yeah, sure.
It helped our mothers. Even today, I like it when our parents, just visit each other and they spend
Wow.
time talking. And
Mm-hmm.
of course sometimes we don't agree with what they're saying, because they're going to start now comparing this person's daughter to
Uh-huh.
yours, and to where things went wrong.
And they'll tell them, they give them like instructions on what to do
Yeah,
about your life.
on what to do about your life, and before you know, you're receiving endless calls.
Just because they made the visit.
And they're like, but don't you think this and
Uh-huh.
that? Don't you think this time has reached for this? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
are you sure you're taking care of this aspect, as
Uh-huh.
a woman, this aspect of your life? And you're like,
Uh-oh.
but where are you getting all that from? You just know they spend time with,
Yeah, with
their
someone.
friends in the
Mm-hmm.
community. Yeah. So as we close our session, or as we just wrap up this episode, um, how your advice, how can we as ladies, as women, leave a positive, lasting impact on the people we meet?
Wow. I feel like
Or
that
how are
has
you leaving a lasting, positive impact?
I feel like it's being you. The answer is
Yeah,
being the only you.
yeah,
Because if you don't be you,
yeah.
you don't have a source where you're pouring,
Mm,
you're getting what you
mm,
give to the world.
yeah,
Because for example, I at this time I know
yeah.
now I know what I want to do.
Mm,
Maybe I'm still learning. I'm in the
mm,
process, but
mm.
I know very much that I want to empower every woman, every girl,
That's good.
every little baby that I meet.
Yeah,
So having an understanding about that,
yeah.
because that's something I used to run from.
Mm-hmm.
I ran from that because I was so destroyed.
Yeah,
Because there's this point you brought up, like having male friends.
yeah.
That was me. So I felt like I'm safe with male friends. I remember counting my male friends, and I was like, I don't even have one little girlfriend. So even my mother would ask me, like, how do you do it?
Yeah,
So you find you're not being you,
yeah.
because you start even giving yourself ideas that are
Mm-hmm.
not really right,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because you want to fit in a
yeah.
system that you were not created to be, so
Yeah.
you don't serve your purpose.
True.
So you leave a positive impact when you step into your authentic
Oh,
self,
yes.
because now you understand, like, there's a
Mm.
way God does this.
Yeah.
He shows you clearly how, like, because you have become your own self, this is what I want you to give to the world.
Yeah.
So you talked about people, like therapy now is really expensive. Do you know why? This time when I call someone to talk to them,
Yeah.
they're not listening to
True.
understand.
Yeah.
They're listening to speak back.
I know, right?
So we need people who I can speak to and they listen.
Yeah.
You listen to me. So then if you step into your authentic self, you understand, like, there's I don't know, it's a vibe inside you
Yeah.
that tells you this is how you have to do life. Maybe I was called to listen to people,
Yeah.
but because the world has moved me in a different way, because everyone wants to speak, I also start speaking.
I know,
So maybe
right?
God has called me to just listen.
Yeah.
So when you stand into your authentic self, now you know, oh, if everyone else is speaking, my calling is to listen.
Oh, yes.
So while I'm listening,
How
I'm leaving a positive impact,
Yeah.
because I will see the world coming to me.
Yeah.
They will come to me fine. We will be like, okay, I love speaking to Olivia because I know she can listen to me. And you know what? When she listens to me, I heal.
Oh, yes.
So you are leaving an impact on my life because you're just listening to me. So leaving a positive impact goes with, like, allow yourself to be authentic self, because there inside there is your calling. And then when you're doing your calling, you're impacting people positively.
True, sister. Thank you so much. And just tying on what you're saying, there is this beauty that if we show up in our fullness, we allow others the opportunity to do the same.
Sure.
But if we are masking up and pretending, even others will pretend.
Yeah.
Because human beings, we are created with this sense. I don't know whether it's in in our spirits or what, well, in a way, we will always know when something is authentic or not.
Yeah.
When someone is real or not, when
Mm-hmm.
someone is holding something back from us that's very crucial or not.
Yeah, that's true.
So us being our true selves empowers others to do the same.
Yeah.
Now, imagine if we meet in a space where all of us are free to be ourselves and we are
Wow.
showing up with that fullness.
Wow.
Imagine the different things we'll create
Mm-hmm.
uniquely and beautiful, and everyone will be admiring what the other person is doing.
Wow.
Because it's different, it's them, it's their voice in there.
Sure.
Or sometimes I think that um, it's not necessary for us to do something for people every day
Mm-hmm.
or to have a solution.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way you can leave a mark on someone is by not doing anything.
Sure.
Don't do anything. Don't talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask.
Sure.
Also, if you don't think you're going to give them the help they need,
Yeah.
just ignore. I know ignoring might not be the right word, but just ignore and move on with your life.
Sure.
You can't help them. Don't hurt them. It's simple like that.
Sure.
I can't do anything for you, sister. I would have loved to help you. I would have loved to do this. But because I'm not in a position to, I'll just focus on my next.
Yeah.
And as I focus on my next, I become a better person. Maybe I save myself because that's the only energy I have for that day.
Sure.
There's some days where the only energy you have is to save yourself.
Yeah, it's to save yourself.
And you can't save others.
Yeah.
But in the process of saving myself, I make sure that I don't hurt you, that I don't tarnish you, that I don't overreach. I'll see you and I just keep quiet.
True.
Continue on my journey and do what I have to do.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to us.
Yeah.
We hope as women, because we all win. We all win when we are secure, when we are aware of who we are.
Sure.
When we work on our confidence, and when we work on promoting a healthy sisterhood, and being part of the sisterhood. Yeah, there is a lot we can gain if we just unite and belong together and dream together and create things.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes I think about women and I just imagine what we can do when we come together. Because you just see like what one woman is able to do.
Yeah.
With all the resistance they are receiving, with all everything, all the logs that are being thrown in their way, and I'm like, wow, imagine if most of us, if different women had that power, if they were empowered to be maybe in the same position, the same space, and they just held hands.
Sure.
They're like, each woman that goes on that stage, we're going to cheer her on. Wow. Because we know the challenges she's facing. And somewhere, those challenges are going to threaten her crown. But when her crown threatens to fall off, we'll be ready to get it, grab it, and put it back on her head and cheer her on. Yeah. And even that woman, as she takes on the stage, she remembers, if I'm alone here, the odds are against me.
Yeah.
I have to carry other women because they know what it is like to be a woman.
Sure.
To have all this responsibility. And the beauty about us, Zoe, as women, is that you don't just lead with our minds, we lead with our hearts. And I think that's what makes it special.
True.
We care about people, we are concerned about the collective. We carry everyone, not necessarily our children, we are thinking about everyone. And these are things I think we've grown up seeing our mothers do.
True.
Whereby any person that knocked on our doors that was hungry, our mom were like, let's also get a plate for them. It didn't matter as long as someone was hungry, at least from what I grew up seeing my mom do. She would be like, there is always enough for us, another starving child. It's lunchtime, let them come, they'll share from what you're eating. And for me, that's the beauty of being women, is that it's easy for us to pursue justice. Yes. It's easy for us to want to love and care for other people beyond. And it's sad that if we don't put that power to use, we'll end up using it in different way because we have the power in us. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, if we don't use it positively,
Yeah,
we will use it
true.
negatively.
So we have to hope that we use it for the intended purpose of
Mhm.
which God bestowed it in us and blessed us with this beautiful power.
Yeah.
Or I mean, life will just challenge us,
And
pin us somewhere, and then we'll end up using that power in a wrong way
Mhm.
and still affect the collective. Because there is
Yes.
something, every action, Zoe, that we take as women, we shouldn't forget that every action we take is not just affecting Zoe.
Yeah.
Zoe may be the direct person
Mhm.
that is in front of you as you spit those words on her, those rude words and comments. But it's not only her that you're affecting at that time.
Yes.
You're going to affect every other person Zoe meets.
True.
Because if she starts seeing herself in that way, that's the same energy she's going to pour into others.
Yeah.
The wrong energy.
Mhm.
And then that those other people are also going to pour the same in the others that they are meeting.
Yeah.
And before you know, we are creating this long line of unhealthy people, of insecure girls, of insensitive human beings.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end, we are all losing.
Sure.
Yeah. Yet we can choose to win by focusing on the good and speaking the good into each other's lives.
True.
Yeah. So we love you so much and we hope you join us for the next episode.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.